David, it's never been more important in 2022 to figure out how to convert these buyer leads from Zillow. So I'm so thrilled to have you with us today. So thank you so much. So let's just dive right in. What do you think right now is the most important thing in 2022 to get these Zillow buyer leads under contract?
Well, Patrick, there's really only one thing. If you revolve everything around this one thing, your people are going to be successful. You need to get in front of the client. If you get in front of the client, myself and my team here in Park City, we have come to the conclusion after a year, well over a year of data, that if we get in front of a client, then we have a 70% chance of converting that lead into a sale. So that's the key. We want to turn a call into an appointment, into meeting the client.
Got it. Yeah. And that's the general, statement. And thank you for tracking your numbers too, because it's super helpful. So what are some of the issues with getting the appointment, right? I know that there's a lot of basic training on, hey, start with, let's get you into the appointment when it's a better time for you, 2 or 4, and being prepared with that. But is there any objections, handlers that you guys have to take people from a little bit of resistance to the appointment into the appointment?
Well, the thing is, you have to understand when people call you or they're on Zillow and they give you their name, their email address, their phone number, potentially the property they want to look at, we assume as great salespeople that they want to see property. Mm-hmm. So a lot of it has to do with the script and the approach to get them to set the appointment.
Got it. So number one, it starts with the assumption and then making sure that everything you said leads to that first assumption. So you guys are, when you get them there 70% of the time to the appointment, that's when conversion goes through the roof. Right. So can we shift over to when you're on the appointment? I know you do a tremendous amount of great training, skills training, sales training with your team member, which is why you guys are so literally one of the most successful Zillow conversion teams in the country. What are some of the best practices that you guys have? Some of the things you're teaching your agents. But so it's like, I booked the appointment, now I'm showing up, or what do you do between the appointment and or at the appointment? Wherever you want to start.
Okay, well, the first thing is you have to be prepared. But the most important thing is make the appointment, right? Mm-hmm. And so we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but so let me just back up. Let me tell you my whole philosophy before we get to the appointment.
Go for it.
Because if we don't get to the appointment, if we don't get in front of them, we don't have a chance to convert them, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's the goal. You get them on the phone. You do not open the objection door, right? So how do you not open the objection door? So the script will go something like this. Hi, Patrick. This is David Lawson, your local premier Zillow agent with the Lawson real estate team at England Volkers right here in Park City. I noticed that you wanted to see 123 Main Street. I have some time available today at 3, or I could do it at 4:30. Would that work for you?
Not 4:30, but maybe 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock? Okay. Let me check my schedule, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, 6 o'clock. Okay, and then I say, and what I do is the entire first line of the entire script is all about getting them in the door, okay? Mm-hmm. So Patrick, before I get off the phone, I'm gonna text you my contact information. I'm gonna send you a short video that says, hi, Patrick, this is David Lawson. I can't wait to see you today at 123 Main Street at 6 o'clock. Just wanted to put a face to the name. I'm going to be sending you over some information, and I look forward to seeing you. And if you're in your office or if we're on Main Street in Park City, I like to walk outside the door and have Main Street in the backdrop, right? Mm-hmm. Because if they're looking at Main Street, I'm on Main Street, or if they're looking at Park City, I'm right here, right? So now they have a face. It's all about you can't build rapport. You can't get them without getting in front of them. So now they've seen me one time. Then I say something like, and by the way, I remind them, Patrick, just to remind you, this is David Lawson with the Lawson Team. And then I say, so Patrick, tell me, what is it about 123 Main Street that piqued your interest, or had you call me today? Right? And then you respond and you listen carefully to what they say, and you ask a few qualifying, or not qualifying, but clarifying questions, right? So you'll say, well, I like the fact that it's near the town lift. Oh, it's near the town lift. Fantastic. So, then you go in. So I take it are you a skier or a snowboarder? Well, we ski, but my kid's bored. All right. How many times have you come to Park City, right? So we try to build a little bit of rapport there. And I have in the past, 10, 20, 30, decades and decades ago, we were all trained to say, Patrick, when do you want to buy? Are you pre-qualified? How much money do you have? Do you have, are you a real buyer or whatever? And it's like, that is the complete opposite. We never want to do that. We want to make all of the conversations, we want to make it conversational, not confrontational, right? So that is, and then I'll say, so Patrick, if you like 123 Main Street, that's a 4-bedroom in Old Town, is there any other properties that you would like to see? Sometimes they say yes or no. And then we say, how about I also try to find another property or two for you? So when we meet at 6, could you block out, 90 minutes? Yes, I do. And then, so that's the whole gist of what we do and how we make the appointment. And when you assume and you just, they call you on a property, or you know what it is, or you find out what they're looking for, and you're very proactive and you assume that they want to go see it, they're like, yes. Okay. So
yeah, can I summarize that for a second?
Sure.
It's you've optimized everything for the ideal outcome. The ideal outcome is they want to see the property. The ideal outcome is they want to see other properties like that. And the ideal outcome is they want to go, see properties with you during that time. And everything that you're saying is designed to get to that end result, as opposed to what I find a lot of people do, which you alluded to, is they're trying to disqualify, and they're asking kind of qualifying questions to get rid of the junk. And that actually turns the perfect customer away and annoys them. Right. So it's better to optimize for the perfect customer, which would annoy all of the junk anyways. Right.
Well, and if they're junk, they probably won't agree to meet you.
That's right. Good.
So here, I mean,
that was great. Beautiful.
Your mindset.
So yeah. So what's step 2 in this process? Because that was very clear in step 1.
Okay. So then step 2, I get off the phone. And the first thing I do is we do the video. No, we send them a text with our contact information. Hey, Patrick, David Lawson here with the Lawson Real Estate Team in Park City. Just got off the phone, just confirming we're going to meet today at 6 o'clock at 123 Main Street. And by the way, I'm going to email you, put a couple of another property, and I might even have an off-market or quiet sale program property that I could send you as well. So keep an eye out for on your email. Then we go outside, or I'll just do a quick video. Patrick, putting a name to the face, David Lawson, can't wait to see you, right? So now they get a text from me. They also, we're looking at each other, or they get to see my face, right? They get to see the person that they're going to meet, right? Then we go and we look. By the way, lots of times when people call off of Zillow, what's happening with the property? It's already under contract. If you know it's under contract, what do you do differently? Nothing. You still set the appointment. Why? Because if I tell you, Patrick, oh, I'm sorry, 123 Main Street is already under contract, then I don't, then everything goes bad. Think of it like this. If I set an appointment for you at 6 o'clock, what's the chance that you're going to go back to Zillow and hit the, I want to talk to another person. I want to talk to another person. They're not going to do it, right? And so then it's all in the follow-up. So then we're going to go look and we're going to find out. So let's assume that it is available. We talk to the agent. We let them know that we want to go in. And I have my agents, they go there. They try to go there early so that they know the property. If it's a house in a neighborhood, we have them drive the neighborhood. And then if it's in Old Town, as we're communicating, Patrick, I sell real estate in Park City, but Old Town area is one of the places that I really focus on. It's like my area. So because blah, 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 right? And so now we want to make sure that you understand that I'm the local, hyper local, specific to where you're looking to buy. Okay.
Nice.
Next thing. So then we start to look at other properties that are available. And we like to try to show them at least 2 properties on the first visit.
Yep.
Now, in our market, sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. If the property is pending, what do? We talk to the agent and we ask him, are you taking backup offers? If they say yes, then you say, great, I want to go show it at 6 o'clock. Perfect. If you can't show it, then, that now there's other things, and we don't want to get into what happens if you can't show it because there's renters or something, because that's not the focus here, right? And then what you do is you go there prepared. I bring my, okay.
Don't worry, I just edit all that out, by the way.
I bring one of my buyer's presentations or I bring a presentation with me so that they know that we're the professionals. We always bring that with them, right? Okay. So, and then we are my agents are trained to communicate with them 2 or 3 times before the appointment, right? And that is where that's where they win. Our conversion rate is over 10%. And those numbers are partly because of the systems and the coaching and the training that the agents get, but also that they have a plan.
Right.
Okay.
Awesome. So now I'm at the appointment, because I was very clear about what to do between, getting that first phone call to the appointment. Here we are. We did a little bit of research. We found 2 properties. We got into the door. What's the best practices from here? Because this is where I think everybody gets a little haywire. Either they lose out on opportunities, or this is where the people are converting, and it's very clear. It's like step 1, but now step 2 is the critical piece.
All right. So when you're showing a property and if you're in a little bit more of a luxury or high-end market, don't do what the untrained agents are. If you're in the kitchen, you don't tell them that, oh, here's the kitchen, right? So what do? You open the door for them. You ask them to make themselves at home, take a look, and then you have a very general conversation. But what I do is we're taking notes. So, oh, wow, so now we're in the kitchen and they say, so let me ask you, Patrick, is this kitchen kind of work for what you guys are thinking? Oh yeah, we love to cook. Oh, okay. And now we know that they like to cook. And if they like to cook, they might want to entertain, right? So this is all about not telling, but selling is not telling, right? Selling is asking questions. So what I train the agents to do is ask some general questions, they answer, and then you ask clarifying questions on whatever it is that's important to them, right? If they have kids with them, it could be school district. If they're asking about, oh, I like this great room. What is it about that? Well, we like to entertain and we like to have friends over. Or if they like the fact that it's close to the ski resort, then you can talk skiing and snowboarding. If they if they, you know, if the guy or the woman walks in the office and like they spend extra time in the office, what does that tell you? And you need to pay attention, right?
Mhm.
When you're there, it's showtime, baby, right? You have to pay attention. So, wow, it looks, I mean, so would this office work for you, Patrick? Sure. Yeah, this would be perfect. Oh, okay. So do you need a home office? Oh, yeah. You know, my business now allows me to be in Park City instead of Solana Beach, right? You know, I can be here and ski and work because, right? And now you have all that. All right. And then the key is in the follow-up, right? So at that
So
point,
when do you guys bring out the buyer consultation? So that first plan is kind of the ask good questions, you know, pay attention, find the cues, build your notes, right? Then when do you guys transition into this kind of buyer consultation, buyer presentation, kind of who you guys are and what you do? How does that transition work?
okay. So there's two things that I always have with me. Now, this is my listing consultation. I have the buyers somewhere here, but I don't have it with me.
That's okay.
But I carry it around with me, right?
Mhm.
What else do? I give them a very, very nice packet of information. You know, it has all of the listings. And by the way, I print two of them. One is for me with the agent's information, and one is for them. And then when I'm going up to the door, I'm going to say, here, Patrick, this is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,500 square foot. It's listed at 2.8 million, Bob. And I give it to you. And then I say, you know, if you want, maybe write some notes down. So I have all of the information in front of me of that home, along with the next one that we're going to see. And then I just say, make questions. And then what I'm doing is I'm writing my notes on the home that they're interested in, because now in this world that we're in 2022, we're not going to go show them 6 homes like we used to, right? So it's a lot easier for us to remember, because we might only be showing them 1 or 2 or 3, but it's still a good practice to do that. Okay. But you have to build rapport, and you got to show them your the expertise. And the other thing is if you're in a hyper market, you know, go in and be prepared. What does that mean? Know how many homes are active, how many have sold in the last 90 days, how many are pending, right? You and we're professional salespeople. We're professional real estate agents. You know, our job is to study homes and prices every day, right? So that's what we need to do. So it's a whole picture. It's a whole plan, right? So now, then to answer your question, when do you bring this buyer's presentation up? I usually do it at either near the end of the showing or at the last home. And I say, here's some information on our team, gives you a lot of information. It gives you a lot of other, things to look at. And if you're in a resort market, you might want to put together one of these. Okay. What this is this is a yellow page guide. And all the buy. So Patrick, you're moving here from Solana Beach, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I just want to give you our guide, and these are all the people that we know and trust, right? So if you need a contractor or supplies or lighting or dentist or dog care or dry cleaning or electrician or fencing or financial planners or firewood or florist or golf courses, it's all in here. And these are people that we know and trust. By the way, you think this is a lead generation tool for me?
Yes, of course.
Say yes, right?
Yes.
So it's putting together a whole plan. Now you can't do all of this all at once. So these are things that I call you one time. You do one thing one time really good, and then you repeat it over and over and over.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Okay.
Cool. We've got a couple minutes. Any closes? So, one of the things that it makes sense to me is that, you know, a lot of people, if they're the perfect customer, they are in market and ready to roll. And so for us to not address, you know, the perfect customer, there's a mistake. So how do you guys kind of address this? Like, they did their own research and they're ready to rock. What's that bridge right there at the end of, you know, you're here, we're in houses, we're together. What's that next step?
Yeah. Well, and we're not the sales like, oh, you better put an offer in today about this, right? But
Right, of
we
course.
have one saying on our team, Patrick, do you think this house works for you? Well, I kind of think so. Great. Patrick, writing an offer is only the first step. It's not buying a home. So let's do this. Let's write the offer. Let's try to get it under contract. Once we have it under contract, we're in the driver's seat. They have to sell it to us, but we don't have to buy it if it's not the right home for you. But what we're going to do is we're going to eliminate the competition. And we do that by writing an offer. So how much earnest money do you want to put down? What's the purchase price, right?
Mhm.
The other thing is, and I don't want to get into this now, but you need to make sure that you're setting the expectations of what to do and how to write an offer. Writing an offer is that's a whole nother discussion. We should do that again sometime, right?
Yes, no, I'd like to hear that.
Yeah.
So when do you kind of help these guys, you know, if they're newer salespeople, this gap between, you know, I'm showing them the property to, would you like to make an offer? When do you kind of, I loved your script, but when do you bring that up? What are some of the cues you're looking for? Is there any kind of best practices around that topic?
You mean like are trying to find out if that particular person is going to write an offer on that property?
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
From you know, all the stuff that you gave them to, you know, making, you know, actually getting them to be a yes to making an offer. And
yeah.
then any best practices on that, is that at the meeting, does that conversation go from there? Do they take notes on it? Do they, you know, go back to the office? Like, kind of, what are some of your guys' best practices around this?
Okay. Well, the thing is in our market, you have to, they pretty much know they have to act fast.
Right.
So one of the things that we do is we bring our listing baton, if it's a listing, and a buyer's baton. If it's a buyer, we're talking about buyers.
Mhm.
We have that right there. If
Mhm.
they say yes, what we do is we have them sit down in the beautiful, the best part of the house, whether it's the great room, the living room, at the kitchen table. And I say, Patrick, okay, how much money are we going to put down? And we try to write that right there,
Mhm.
right?
Perfect.
Because if they're excited and they trust us and we tell them writing an offer is just the first step, then the next step is what? Writing the offer, right? And so it's very low key, but it's very effective. And the thing is, when you come prepared and they really feel that if I want to buy a house in Solana Beach, I know exactly who I'm going to go to because I believe that you're the professional in North County, San Diego, right?
Yep.
So there's no trick to it, but there is. You ask questions, right? And you ask questions because you want to understand what they're looking for, right? I have a sign on my computer when I'm calling people. It says, listen to understand, not to respond, right? Here. Kind of messed up, right? But here it is. This folds over on my computer. And why? We want to understand what the client wants. And that then when you listen to understand, not to respond, you're getting down to the nitty-gritty of what is really important to them. They want to be sold, but they want to be sold in a manner that is really important to them. You will build rapport like nobody else by using some of these techniques.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So I see the whole process as to why you guys have over 10% conversion. It makes perfect sense to me from start to finish. So David, that was amazing. On the next session, let's talk about what you guys are doing to get offers accepted in this insanely challenging and difficult market and highly competitive. So let's do that on the next session. Guys, make sure you reach out to David, talk to him about, what he's doing with Zillow, how he's kind of expanding his team in different luxury markets. And David, thank you so much. I can't wait to talk to you on the next round.
All right. Fantastic. It's been fun, Patrick.